Welcome back to Talking Stupid. Definitely worth the wait. All right. Well, welcome everyone to the first episode of Talking Stupid. It's a chaotic inquisition of all things lawful stupid. I'm your host, Inverted Zebra. You probably recognize me from some of my other featured cameos, such as Fuck You Zeebs and some other random chuckles we get during the podcast. So we're going to run down some of the most recent episodes and give you guys all a little behind the scenes, some character thoughts, some insights to Dwayne's world, and just have some fun with it. So obviously, yes, and obviously got the whole crew joining us today. So in a very particular order, based on their best breakfast cereals, I've got Dwayne, the pigeonist of toes, Peden. Got
Curveball, I did not see that coming.
Now I get why, you don't lose your tempo. We got Devin, Thundercakes Davenport. She's a bona fide artist, A-Bon, and probably to a T of his own style, well, where only 2% will get this, Shainsaw Jim Duggan. So
I'm the 98%.
So
I'm the 98% too.
If you,
Jim,
anyone?
They're out there. Don't worry.
they're out there.
text.
I tell myself I got it. Cool.
There's
They're
somebody who knows like 90s era Hulk Hogan wrestling stars, so we'll get there. All right, so we're not going to go all the way back. We're going to start off after, well, the episode right before Devin comes back with his new character, Paul. So episodes 30 through what we just recorded, 35. So as a refresher, that's defeating the Goo Dragon, heading out of the cave, and everything forward to what we just recorded.
Awesome.
All right. So again, this time in no particular order, because I'm really good at fidgeting and shuffling the questions I wrote up. We're going to start with you, Shane.
Okay.
All right. So back as you guys exited the cave, we had a scene where May looks at you, says, "I don't feel good," and collapses. And I mentioned this before. We all kind of had that Thanos snap moment where we thought she was just done.
I thought Dwayne was gonna erase her from the universe. Yes.
Absolutely. And I couldn't.
Hey, look at the recording. You just get deleted.
So, how, if that had played out that way, how do you feel like it would have affected Gus?
So I have a plan for if Gus were to lose May. Should I say more than that? I don't know, because it could still happen.
It's true.
Up to you how much you feel comfortable. I don't
I could be either encouraged or dissuaded, depending on your.
Don't dangle the carrot.
I'll say this. It starts with him as a reaction to the trauma, losing his sense of taste.
Ooh. Gus, the Oathbreaker Paladin.
And it goes from there in traditional Shane fashion.
It's super dark for you. I think, like any other show, you're like, oh, he loses his taste. Like, oh man, it went real bad. Like, what happened?
I feel like that's even more insane than the fume transition that we got the other. Like, whew. All right. To that, as we're again heading out of the cave, Avon, you've got this interaction going on between the stone and Cassiel, and then we get into some more fun bits, and it really seems like, and maybe it naturally felt that way because, of course, Cassiel's played by Ginge, your husband, but it felt like, especially in that scene where he's sobering back up but hungover, and you give him the kiss, that maybe Darling's getting some feels for Cassiel, and we've seen her be a little bit of a player beforehand. So, just your thoughts on where she's at in that headspace.
I mean, Cassiel's kind of just like another traveling buddy. I don't feel like it's any different than her time at the Asylum of Style. Like, as much as I, as Avon, want her to, like, fall in love with the character my husband plays, which I think is real cute. I did it back in C3, kinda. He's currently a nice buddy to talk to, a little bit different than family, but I don't think they're at a stage of growth for her to lean either way. That was just kind of like, just a little feel better.
Gotcha.
Counterpoint, you never kissed Tuck Duck.
Also, there's that too, I guess. But
And that's why there's a war now in episode 35.
you need me to play Romeo and Juliet with Tuck Tuck?
We didn't know that the most aggressive of those squander coming our way was Tuck Tuck with a broken heart.
Unrequited love.
No.
You have even more tales now.
I think what you're looking for is Bitter Blue. That's what that's going to be. It's another Bonnie Tyler song.
Tuck Tuck, like, just because he's got more of a little brother vibe that I picked up with
He's
her.
16.
Yeah, he's also 16.
Okay. But we never quite got established. Is that 16 out of 20? And he...
Listen,
How old did they get?
Tuck Tuck said for podcast purposes, he would be 18.
Sure, legally on his podcast record.
He's 18.
On the official wiki, it says 16. That's crossed out, and then it says 18.
For podcasts.
And then wink.
And then totally legal.
Whatever age is legal in your jurisdiction.
And then so it's the word wink and then a winky face, like an emoji.
So, Dwayne, I had to ask this. The curiosity got to me. So, the goo dragon that they battled, and then knowing that May got cursed shortly after her interactions with that dragon, is the goo dragon a specific creature you developed for Agos, or is that a normal dragon, and that is what the curse does to it when it gets to the end stages?
Yeah, that's a really good question. It is. I will answer this as vaguely as possible, or as mysteriously as possible. That is not a specific creature developed for Agos.
That was pretty mysterious.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of mysterious. I'm captivated by mystery.
All right. So we'll go full circle now, Devin.
Mm-hmm.
From the minute Paul Barro, am I rolling enough R's? Or do I
Do it again.
Just you think when you're saying bottom,
Barrow.
think of when Scarface is like shooting. Is you got to do like a lot of that, you know.
We'll get to the end of the first episode of Talking Stupid by the time I finish his name.
Yes.
Yep.
So he comes out and clearly he is like a showman. He's got that extreme confident bravado. And then there's a moment right before the airship scene where he pauses and you guys let Avon go ahead alone. Was that like partially a metagame fluke, or is that more of a sign that he is a little bit more talk and not just like foolhardy run in?
It may have been fluke because the way that I'm playing Pobaro is that he's very much into conflict. I think there are just some things that happen for him that he can't control, which may come up later on here in the episodes with the blood thing. But no, he's into getting in, getting hands on very much.
And I do want to say, I don't even think it's in a form of a question I can make, but I want to comment because it's the most respectful way I've ever seen out of all the D&D shows and content I consume. You guys hit a stride, and everybody knows that when you're getting into a character or a scene, it can be really easy to dive full force in. And I think Dwayne caught on that, like, that might be making somebody uncomfortable or not quite where you guys want to take things. There was like a quick note and no stumble. You guys just carried on and respected everybody's boundaries. And I thought that was very cool because I know there's a lot of teams that, you know, having to stop in the middle of something like that is a stumbling block. And is that something that you guys feel like is just learned over time, or because you guys have such good camaraderie? Or
I'll jump in on that real quick and say that that is the direct result of a session 0, a good session 0 where we ask people's comfortability and their lines and, you know, what's too far. And that was a line that was discussed, and as soon as, you know, and you'll
I
even
forgot the line. And then
yeah, that's fine. You'll even hear
line.
Like my descriptions on those things are lighter than I maybe I typically would, just because when I get excited, I'm like, yeah, devil's in the details. But you know, we try to keep that to a minimum because it is a boundary, and frankly, you know, it's probably a good point that we don't dive too deep into that stuff. Like some of the stuff that happened at Delmore, I loved, right? Because the devil's in the details. But I also understand where that can make people go, ugh. So, because it was a very tough scene.
Yeah, I really appreciate
I love it.
Dwayne telling me to like headphones off for some of the details scenes, or at least when there's more of them.
Definitely. And, you know, I think it goes like you guys do have like a very natural like back and forth and candor with each other and that respect for boundaries. And this is kind of to all of you guys, but it was a scene that Shane and Devin had pull up that just floored me on the just very like multi-dimensional role play. Is we had Paul Barrow show up and when you guys are deciding like to head off and he needs to join the group, you know, he makes that comment about like, just ask for my help, and Shane digs heels in, is like, I will never ask for your help. And that had such an organic, like, these two are brothers. There is a history there. Like, even if it's not told, it just immediately feels like this has happened before. And so for listeners who are trying to role play, like, is that just luck when you stumble into that? Like, I know you guys don't prearrange those conversations, so like, how would you help people like make those role plays more real?
I think that particular scene, for me, I just kind of made a snap judgment that was going to be like, hey, I'm going to be the big bro. Or like, even if I'm not the big bro, I'm going to like big bro posture to Paul Barrow. And I think that's going to get a rise out of him. And it's a thing that I've gone back to in later episodes of just kind of like that teasing relationship. And Devin is just the champion yes-ander of the world, and the way that he carries that, and I think are just are natural. Devin is my brother, so it's very easy for me to just get kind of in their role, because it's kind of like the relationship that we have.
Yeah, and I think also like the dynamic of us being siblings has been just really fun. No matter what, like hopping in and out of these. Well, I say me. I've had characters hopping in and out of.
I don't know what that's like.
Has been easy, and so I really like the dynamic with Avon as well. Is like like we all have different nicknames. I'm doing that on purpose too. Is like now you're the tiny dancer for me, and he's Sprout and Gustav, and we're just I don't know. I find that very fun as a dynamic that Dwayne has allowed us to pull from as well.
Fantastic.
I also think about how because Darling is ultimately like little sister. I think about how my youngest sister kind of like interacts with me, and it's fun and playful. I try my best, but I also try to give Darling a bit more extra than my sibling. She's a little bit meaner.
Cut that, quick.
Okay. That's bad.
All right. So, Dwayne, as a DM, do you have any plans for future campaigns to take us to a new place in Goron where your creatures don't have mouths or buttholes that the creatures avoid?
I'll quit the day that.
Yeah. So I wouldn't even. Here's the cool thing about nature. If you thought about it, like if all the humans disappeared, the world would go on, right? It would just react. So I'm not even saying you have to go to a new world to find monsters that don't have buttholes. I'm just saying nature responds, and sometimes quicker than you think.
The life finds a way mentality of like, from now the buttholes have teeth. Now their multi-attack includes a butthole action because they've had to develop stronger, more fierce buttholes to defend against.
They've got reactions for butthole defenses,
No, that makes perfect sense.
Where can I get one of them reactionary buttholes?
Well, the first thing you got to do is you got to practice swallowing little bits of broken glass.
You got to be what they call a power bottom.
Crunch. This segment brought to you by Nestle Crunch Bar.
Oh no.
And then Gus's philosophy, nom or be nommed, he kind of did throw himself into that be nommed situation, but came out of it rather explosively. So does that change the way it works, or is that just a funny aspect of being nommed?
Well, that was a unique moment for Mouse Gus, in which he had to find bravery in a place that I initially, when I wanted to set that scene up, I wanted to be I thought these things were bigger than they were, and so I thought, man-sized Gus runs in, turns into an elephant, ha ha ha. I didn't think I would have to be a small defenseless mouse running into a mouth, but I'm a bit of a power gamer. So mentally I was thinking, you know what? Fact is, I'll have less hit points, which means even if I touch stomach acid, if it does any damage to me, I'm a mouse. I'm turning back into a man. And I kind of knew we were in narrative combat and had a feeling of how that would play out. Philosophically, though, I guess it's like, this is Gus getting wiser and older, and he's just like sitting by the campfire, like roasting a steak. Like, sometimes when you numb, you actually get numbed. Sometimes when you get numbed, well, you're the one who numbs. Anyway, I ever tell you kids about numb?
Last time I was numb.
That's a whole image. What is it, a winged Turzard? A turd, winged turd or something?
That's going to be the nickname for it. There's
Yeah.
Hands down.
I ate the shit out of that thing. Let me tell you, there wasn't a thing on Agos that I didn't Normal.
Get inside.
Hey, I got one rule. It's if you see me in the woods and you look delicious, you better start talking.
I put my mouth on everything.
If you don't know how to talk, you're gonna get pet.
I know how to milk
Unless
a
you're
whole
real
new
cute.
set of creatures.
Or be adorable. That's your other move.
Right? That's the secret asterisk to the list. So.
There's now Gus is gonna run into creatures that appear normal, but then like turn into scary monsters when they're frightened.
That's the evolution I want to see. The chibi versions of all the monsters we fought before who evolved to become adorable so Gus won't eat them. He's such an ecological impact.
Honestly, though, isn't that very, very Derringer of Gus at that point? Just goes on adoption spree, and now Gus has like 72 rescues.
I said it when the puppy came into play. I said, let's go to the Feywild. Let's grab that blink dog. I'm gonna make something real weird. So if I have to become, the God, I don't want to say this term monster breeder with this particular audience. Become some sort of Pokemon Razor. That'll be my destiny.
Gotta raise them all.
Gotta
We're following the Derringer name,
Gotta
Yeah.
know them all.
No, now I'm their parents. I raised you up.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like a Rockefeller vibe.
So I did want to jump forward into some of the stuff that just happened.
I can't. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, we're good. Honestly, I'm terrible at watching clocks, so I'm not even sure where we're at.
20 minutes.
All right. Well, we'll try and keep these last couple questions concise because I don't want to drag you guys deep into the night. But interesting lore drop today, Abon. We found out that your Foxfolk character actually is a Fey lineage, which I know was a question a lot of us had been curious about, if that's just a natural race to Goron. But how does Darling feel about that? Has she known the whole time? Is she actually aware that she's part Fey ancestry, and is she interested in like learning more about that, or how does she feel?
To be honest, she's not entirely sure if it's exactly Fae. I'm leaving that up to Dwayne. I'm just basing it off of stories she might have heard as a kid or as she got older. And because foxes tend to be like tricky and mischievous, which is like the same line of Fae, it's very parallel or adjacent, whatever. So I don't think she's interested in exploring it too much further, not unless prompted further. Because like we all grew up orphans, however none of us have gone into looking into like who our previous parents were for whatever reason, or they kind of already know their story. I think, without spoiling too much, like Darling's content with the Derringer family. As much as she dislikes Toddy, she's here. This is her family. Any more than that, it's just icing to a cake, I guess.
Okay.
I really love the version where Darling just thinks she's a normal fox girl until one day she like gets some experience in combat. She grows a second tail and she's like, "Oh fuck, I'm magic."
I only think it's magic.
Wait a second, I'm a fucking fairy.
Flies
Ghost
away with
doesn't get more
tails.
spots.
Yeah, exactly. Like Sonic the Hedgehog tails.
Yeah.
Later.
I'll just wait till Dwayne says I can. Just fly away like tails.
You get enough tails.
Mm-hmm.
That's just aerodynamics. You can't argue with that.
I mean,
It's hard to.
Sonic proved that already. So
Yeah.
All right, Dwayne. One of the last few questions for you. I had to like full stop when you said this. So, Captain Swan, and then we didn't get any more backstory, description, relation, anything. You're gonna just dangle that out there?
Yeah.
It's nice. Give the people what they asked for.
Got
I
him.
do plan to poke that storyline, but I need Darling to be more interested. I want to. I, as a bond, so
Well,
desperate.
Here's the other
Should've
thing.
described her as otter.
I fast traveled you guys back from Prentice to New Havenhold. Nobody asked to check on the airship. Nobody asked to investigate that on the way. So, and that's after us having a conversation about it. You guys feeling like I was trying to push you away from that story thread versus just push you along. So the answer is, yeah.
Look at that.
Devin, we lost Kato. Circumstance yanked Tuk away from us. We're 36 episodes in, and you're on your third character. So, do you have any well wishes before we lose Paul in about 6 more episodes?
Yeah. So what I really want to do is I really want to keep Obaro. I'd like to, but I gotta find something to like keep him interesting. I think is going to be probably the hurdle. Right now, it's like funny to have the relational aspect, but I'm not. He's going to go from here. I'm going to find something. There'll be something, but if not, I'll let Dwayne murder him. But I think we're too far into
that's what happened to Kato. Is Devin let Dwayne murder him?
That's right.
Yeah, I've only got 2 HP left. You know, just don't look at my character sheet.
You're allowed.
All right. Last question I'm going to ask for the night. This one actually comes from Imaginer versus Gaming from our Discord. And as a little fun side plug, if you're listening to this and you have questions about additional episodes, behind the scenes stuff, message me. I'll try and sneak them in so that way everybody gets their voice in here and it's not just Zebra playing 20 questions constantly. But he'd like to know, what's the scariest or most uncomfortable encounter that you've ever had in a campaign?
I mean, I've played in real life game stores, and I gotta say, it's definitely the smell.
My most intense moment that I've had, or scariest, maybe not scariest, but certainly felt the fucking heat, the pressure, the genuine anxiety, was being Delmore and having 2 juxtapositions. One, this desperation for vengeance against I want to say the Hound, but that doesn't sound right. The Jackal, and the desperation of the fight. Following that immediately is Delmore, who's now in the shittiest position, and having to hope and pray that somehow Devin's character is able to make his way through and save him. That was intense. Shane did a great job of setting up the pressure from a narrative standpoint, from a gaming standpoint. It was good. I had a lot of anxiety around that. Not
I
like a
will
bad
trigger
way.
you again. It's gonna happen.
I'm still thinking. Somebody else.
Nobody else has an answer for that?
I said mine.
What you got, Devin?
I think, who were we fighting? Maybe it was a chain demon. So I think it's all Shane's campaign. I think it was the chain demon. When did I lose that golden egg that they're so mad at me about?
That was at the casino.
No, it was the chain demon.
It was chain demon because there was something that we.
Yeah, because at the convention in Tensig, there was the big anti-magic pool there.
That's
right, where you fought the chain demon. You were like, what if I took this thing that's totally magical and has a magical connection to me and put it in the anti-magic pool? I guess you didn't know that.
I didn't know it was that.
we didn't know it was anti-magic until after he did that.
You did dip. You were like, let me get a little dippy dip.
Yeah, I was supposed to look like. I think.
No, you dipped your hand in it because you wanted it to not be gold anymore. That severed the connection to the egg, and because the egg was feeding off of your energy, it starved to death. Yeah, you didn't check up on it for like another month.
My Tamagotchi is just like, it's easy to forget, bro.
I'm with you.
So for me, because I think that the chain, like he kept grappling us or something, right? We had to break out of that. It was so frustrating for me. I was like, we're never gonna leave here. And that was like, for me, it's like I sensed the most danger in that fight, I think. early on.
Once Devin fucking murdered my character, then fuck all y'all. No, I'm kidding.
Okay,
Hey.
I do have one. Unless you're still going.
No, I'm just talking shit.
Okay. Sadly, it was not Devin's game. He did not scare me enough in C3. Probably when I first started playing D&D, I'll bring it back to a character everyone knows I've played, was Abix. And in her like initial campaign, basically going through a fight against some cult members, and they're performing the ritual and whatever. And I don't think other games and other campaigns I've felt quite a lot, but this is like one of the scariest things that happened in a game that made me feel anxious, possibly almost dying. There was like a giant pool of blood coming in from all the sacrifices the cultists did, and is trying to bring in like the 2 newest sacrifices, and I had to fight tooth and nail to like try and save the party NPC with the other player characters in that game. We lost. I was heartbroken after that game. It was very dramatic, very stressful.
Yeah.
But that's where I got.
Dwayne knows how to push my buttons when it comes to feeling the heat in battle, because he will put bystanders at stake. And that's like the cheat code for making me give a shit about combat. It's just like, no, help the people.
Yeah.
I think mine definitely comes
you
into
demonstrated that pretty early on in campaign 1. Even as like a character who didn't give a shit.
Christoph was less. I feel like I really brought it to the table with Lucian.
No, see, I felt it more. No, I mean for me, how I recognized it in you was when you were trying to rally the people for the Oxbane fight. You could tell.
I just wanted to be a charismatic leader.
Yeah, and that shows that like you're using those people, like that you care about that, and even
no, he
Christoph
used them like a
showed.
tool. He was evil. He was a sociopath.
Right. I picked that up from you. Then.
He was a terrorist. You picked it up. That was Shainsaw leaking through the silver mask.
Well, thank you guys. It's been an honor, a privilege. Any final things you guys want to say before we call it?
No, I just want to hear your cool sign off.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Oh, see, this is where I get to have fun and just throw the ball at Devin and say something stupid.
Bye, Devin. Oh, crap. Doesn't work for me, dude. Ah, shoot. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for listening in. Really appreciate you, and I hope you listen to the next episode of See If You Say It.
Talking stupid. Definitely worth the wait.